Surprise, surprise, surprise. There are bugs with the bug fixes. How strong is this new Warriors team once Dagger actually gets here? We're going to discuss that. And what is this new Weapon X team going to be used for? I'm discussing all of these topics and more with Philosopher on your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. And if you're ready for it, find that like button and let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel and your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. This week, I am joined by my brother Philosopher, and we're talking all about the good and bad in Marvel Strike Force. There's bugs with the bug fixes. We got new Warriors to discuss. We got Weapon X to discuss. And if this is your first time here, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know, as soon as a new video is uploaded. But without further ado, brother Philosopher, it has been way too long. How have you been, my friend?
Great. Good to be back on with you, Valley.
I'm glad that you are back on. We need to talk more often because a lot has been going on in the game. And I guess let's just get into it, because one of the more positive things that I saw in this game when the last blog post was this. Mojo's Mayhem updates. Now they're going away. Not just having to get these Mojo's Mayhem objectives from Real-Time Arena. Also, we can get objectives from Blitz, starting with this Strife Blitz, starting a little later today. And I know people have been complaining about Real-Time Arena for a while. This is not play tested. This is not taking all the good from Real-Time PvP, putting it in, just kind of taking a few of the elements, and players have not really been happy with it. So this is kind of a solution that a lot of the players have been asking for. But Philosopher, is this the solution that you wanted for Real-Time Arena and the Mojo's Mayhem and this Battle Pass?
Yeah, not really. I mean, look, it is part of it in the sense that I don't think people in this game should be forced to spend a lot of time on a game mode that they don't enjoy. Okay. I mean, I just think the rewards shouldn't be so high that you kind of have to do it. I know raids, I guess, may be that way at this point. But I didn't think it was, some people hate this mode so much that I don't think they should be forced to do it. But I was really hoping they'd actually improve the mode. And I will say I am encouraged by the more recent changes, because I don't know about you, but just having a focus on knockouts and having a lot fewer requirements and having it switch up more and having more bans, it's been actually better from my perspective. You just get it done quickly, and it's kind of interesting to figure out what a good team is with the current bans. It's not great, but what I was kind of hoping is some sort of ladder system where the tryhards could be in their own tier, trying hard to get their rating up, and then people who just want to get their objectives done could get them done very quickly.
So I think that will be a good solution, and that's not like something that they have to do instead of this. They could do something like that in addition to this. So making it so that you could use your Blitz and Real-Time Arena battles for the battle pass. But as far as the leagues that people were wondering about, maybe making some type of competitive system in Real-Time Arena where you could use that ladder system that you talked about. And for people that want to play and be competitive, you get these minimal rewards on maybe like a weekly basis based on the number of wins. I like that idea that you talked about a long time ago in there. This solution is good, and I gotta say, I agree with you. This season, where it's focused on knockouts, has been one of my more enjoyable seasons of Real-Time Arena. Do you hope that later on they make more improvements of Real-Time Arena, or do you think that this is it and they're just moving on to new game modes, the grand tournament, things like that?
Yeah, I actually am concerned, because I think what happened, my sense of things, the rumors that I've heard, essentially is that the devs slapped this together. They really this wasn't something that was well thought out. The guy who did this, I'm not even sure if he's still at Scopely. And so I think there's a sense like, okay, we tried it out and it failed. And one thing I will say, and this is going to, maybe be a contrarian point or a view different view, is, I have played other games. I do currently play just very minimally Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Okay. on the side, and there's like nothing to do in that game with your team. Like you'll unlock a new team and you can't even use it anywhere. And like the fact that you can just go in and like play with whatever team you want whenever you want to, I think it's actually like a nice feature. And I just it had enough promise that it would have been nice for them to actually make it good, as opposed to abandoning it. It just seems like a lazy solution to me, but I'm glad that people aren't forced to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, that was sucking a little the fun out of it, and I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens with it. I'm thinking they're done with this and they're moving on, but I gotta agree that I'd like that we can go in and have these battles now in real-time arena. Previously, you weren't able to do that. It was all like people focus on objectives and weird teams. Now that it's just knockouts, we can have these battles that we go in and play. Or just use the Phoenix team and just focus on knockouts. But I did want to talk about this next character coming towards real-time arena, and I guess it's kind of a hint of what is to come with real-time arena. Multiple Man is the next character for the battle pass associated with this real-time arena. And he's a farmable character. He's been farmable for a few months here. I remember when they previously released this battle pass, there was good characters in there that people would want. And now they're kind of going with characters that people don't necessarily need. So do you think that this is just Scopely saying, hey, Multiple Man, we don't it's not a character that we could sell a lot of because he's farmable. Now you could use Blitz, real-time arena. Is this pretty much killing real-time arena now?
I don't think so. I actually have a different perspective on it.
Okay.
I think here's my thought on it. It's like for people like you and I, we've already unlocked, I assume you have, I've unlocked Adam Warlock and so forth.
Yes.
So like it really means very little to us to make multiple enemies farmable. In fact, I end up having to farm his node even though I have him at 7 stars for the stupid G14 unique little microchip that is on that node.
I didn't even notice that, but I might have to be going back as well.
It's super annoying, but in any event, I think that for a lot of newer players who don't have Adam Warlock, that node and that character is actually a real pain in the butt to get. And so I wonder if, now that the Adam Warlock event may be coming back again, they're like, oh, we can take advantage of all these people who would ordinarily never spend money and try to turn them into spenders by, solving their multiple man problem. That's my, always have sinister motives for Scopely. So always about the Benjamins with Scopely. So that's my prediction. I could be wrong, but that's my gut on it.
No, you know what? That is a good perspective. I didn't even think about people that can't access that node to farm multiple man. It's a harder farm at the end. But I did think about Adam Warlock because he is very important for Adam Warlock. People maybe not be able to access his node to farm him. So I guess my next question was, when do you think he's coming back? We had his first event start on June 28th, which was a little over 2 months ago. Jubilee took about 6 months to come back between her first and second iteration of her event. What do you think that this is an indication that Adam Warlock is coming back soon? In a reasonable amount of time, or do we have to wait a few more months for Adam Warlock's second event?
Yeah, if I'm predicting, because this is, like I said, I've always, my prediction for Scope is to try to figure out what's the most like money grubbing way that they could accomplish this. Yeah. So my thought is that what they're going to do is they're going to wait till it'll be next this upcoming patch, and he'll come back when you haven't quite finished the RTA. In other words, you have to either RTA up a storm or blitz up a storm, or use cores to get your levels up to get multiple man if you're buying the pass, so that this way essentially the maximum number of people will buy that upgraded battle pass to give them all those extra levels or whatever. That's my prediction. Oh,
that's actually a good prediction. And if we look at the timing of that, we get the new battle pass probably starting today. Sometimes there's delays in it, so it's hard to predict sometimes, but the new battle pass should be starting today. And my prediction for when the Adam Warlock event was coming back based on the Jubilee was the 20th. So not the next Monday, but the Monday after that. That would be right in the middle of this battle pass if that goes stuff. So maybe the 20th of September for Adam Warlock. But we do have a character right now. Her event returned this past week. Jubilee Returned. Her event came back on the 6th, and I believe this is the third iteration of that Jubilee event. Now, how how valuable do you think she is now? Do you think that she is part of this solution for Doom 2 in the mutant section, or do you think that's about this new team that just got revealed, this Weapon X team? What do you think the role for Jubilee is long term now?
That's a great question. So one thing we don't know with Weapon X is, at least I don't know, and maybe you figured it out. You're more keyed in than I am, but I don't know whether Weapon X is a tech team or a mutant team. In other words, we know that Wolverine and Sabretooth are mutants and they're getting reworked. But I at least thought in the comics and the movies even that I thought that like Silver Samurai, for example, I thought he was tech. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if they're basically like a 3-piece tech team that synergizes with 2 mutants. So I don't know. I don't know for sure. I guess my gut would be, if I was going to make a prediction, is that Axemen still are, because they're making a lot of money off Axemen, not from you and I, but from people who are newer to the game.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to sell Axemen for a while and keep them as the solution. And then they'll be like symbiotes, where symbiotes still aren't really fully farmable, but nonetheless, they're already long in the tooth, right? They're already kind of power crept and not holding up perfectly. And I think Axemen are going to increasingly get there. They're not anywhere near where symbiotes are there, but they're starting to get power crept. And I think that the devs are just going to continue using them and making money off them as the mutant solution.
Yeah, and even if there is another solution for mutants down the road, she's still required for that Adam Warlock event. So she's still a character that should be highly coveted for a lot of players. But yeah, and I do want to discuss the Weapon X usage, because I do have some theories based on the comments from YouTube videos that I did where Weapon X is going to be viable. But I do want to move on to this Shang-Chi event. So much surrounding this event, controversy about the character not working properly. Some good things about this, some good rewards, but very, very confusing. What was your impression of this event when you first saw this? Were you guys confused as I was about how this event works?
Yeah, and I had like a lot of players asking me, particularly new players. Like, my cousin started the game like a month or two ago. He's like level 60 or something, and he's like, "What do I do with this event? Like, how does it even work?" And I'm like, "I don't even know yet. I'm trying to figure it out. So I'll let you know." And like, the other thing is bizarre. I've already complained privately to the devs that we have too many dang currencies in this game. Like, try explaining. I get lots of questions from newer players, and they'll be like, "What do all these currencies do?" Because there's so many. If you think about it, you and I have been doing this long enough, we kind of know, because what happens, they get introduced one at a time. But if you're a new player,
yeah,
you're
for
like,
us,
okay,
for us, it's one at a time. It's not that bad. Exactly. It's those new players, right?
It's a new player. So like, there's 30 different currencies in this game. Even for just red stars alone, there's all these different currencies. Hard to keep track of everything. And then you got all these like medallions or whatever they are.
The costume credits, all these pink and gold and other. Yeah, it does get confusing. You're right.
It's very confusing to me. I mean, basically what I figured out is, okay, I need to spend a lot of energy and or blitz to get these the stuff for Shang-Chi, and then there's these, like, it seems to me the only way I get the costume credits is by opening the whatever those things these are,
medallions. Not rings, by the way, medallions. Which
makes no sense, but whatever. Okay.
Should it have been 10 rings, not 10 medallions? Don't you think that would have been more fitting for this event?
You would think, but whatever. And then the medallions, I can't figure out how I get them other than through the calendar. I guess if you wanted to buy them, you could, but I really have no interest in buying these things.
All right, so if you guys are watching this, let me kind of try to explain this as best as I can. So you got this login this
calendar.
Oh yeah. So we got a login calendar. You got 4 of those in there. You have this milestones that you're getting. You got 3 of those in there, and you get those 7. That should unlock the costume. And there's 2 more. There's 3 more out there. 2 that you could buy and 1 that you could purchase with cores. And that's how to get all 10. But you need 7 for the event. And if you grind hard enough with these milestones, you should get 3 of them. And if you just log in for the calendar, you should get 4. So that's how to get the costume. But
so I was right. So basically, unless I want to pay with my credit card, I just do the calendar and whatever.
Yeah, you just do the calendar because you just need 7. It should have been more clear how they described this, because even with the blog post that they released before this event, I was still like, I don't understand this, because we've never seen anything like this before. And it took me a while reading a bunch of Reddit posts and say, all right, I kind of understand this thing now. But Yeah, there's some good rewards. What do you, other than confusion about this event, what do you think about the rewards and what is offered for just grinding through daily play of Marvel Strike Force?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, to me, these are the best kind of events, or the events where you just do whatever you want to do. I mean, spending energy is fine, okay, or blitzing or whatever. Like, in other words, if you're really hardcore, like you're like, okay, I'm like super hardcore free to play guy, I want to blitz like crazy, you can do that. I frankly, for people like me, I already was getting energy offers just because I want to hit level 85 early or whatever. So I had energy. So, I think wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, you're going to get some free stuff, and the stuff's like pretty good. So I don't think anyone should be complaining about that. And frankly, one thing that surprised me a little bit is Shang-Chi really has value even outside of war defense, which surprised me. I thought they were giving away to these new players a character that they wouldn't want to build, but I could see you. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what newer player or mid-game player is going to want to build a war defense team? But actually, like, I could see for Hero 7.1, and actually even for Dark Dimension, I've done some testing. I think this could be a useful character for a number of players. So I'm glad that this is a not so, not a gated way. It's not one of these like the strike pass where you're only getting a 2-star character. Here, a newer player can actually get, or a free to play player can get a reasonable number of stars in this character.
Yeah, other than the initial confusion from this event, I think this is a very good event. Maybe less currency and maybe more explanation could have solved that, but I think the rewards and what you're actually getting for this event is pretty good. Where are you as far as your points, as far as completion? Are you on pace to get all the stuff? Or are you ahead of it? Did you complete it already? Are you behind? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I'm ahead. I haven't completed it yet because I'm not like buying the fire currency or whatever the BS they're trying to sell you.
Appealing to you.
The main thing I will just say, like, if you do whale in this game, like buying energy is usually the most efficient thing you could do because you get so much stuff for it. You get like gold and training mats and stuff, whatever you're farming. Yeah. And so I'm trying to hit level 85 anyway. So I've gotten some of the energy calendars and so forth. And so I'm ahead of it. I think I'll complete it. I think I'm at 50K out of whatever it is that you need to get at. So I'll probably complete it.
Yeah, so guys, if you're wondering if you're on pace or not, right now at server reset today, you should be about 36,000 points. You're trying to get about 6,000 points per day, spending this fire essence currency on whatever is most beneficial for you in the store. But about 6,000 of this fire essence spending per day will leave you on pace. So 36,000 at the end of server reset will be on pace if you're trying to hit all these milestones. And if you're not, then maybe if you're not on pace, and if you want to hit all these, then you're gonna have to blitz a little harder or spend a little more on currency. But not only did we get this event with Shang-Chi, we got some controversy with him, like I said, regarding a bug that came with his inclusion, and this is the heal bug. Now, was this something that you experienced previously, and was this helping or hurting you?
Well, depended on the context. So when we had a big war. So right after Shang-Chi entered the game, we had a big war against Legion, and I underestimated how difficult that team would be to clear. Like, you can punch down with Infinity Watch and lose, and pretty handily if the team gets big enough.
That's not
so.
Fun.
I mean, it's not fun at all. So you're facing, like, I literally be facing an 800K.
Oh my god.
Heroes for Hire team, and there's just like it scales so well with gear that it was like unbeatable, because you can imagine when it's that big, these guys would have like 6-7 red star Shang-Chi. It's just like it was impossible to out damage that, and I had like an almost 900K Infinity Watch team, and I was losing sometimes. So
did you guys eventually figure that out, or was that just a lock for war for you guys?
We ended up clearing, but I didn't realize how hard it would even be to clean up.
Okay.
So if you didn't take out Shang-Chi in an initial thing, like you bring your Infinity Watch and a punch down, and only take down 2 or 3 characters, then you got to clean up. I underestimated how much of a bear that was going to be.
Now, was that because of Shang-Chi, or was that a lot to this bug? where he was healing characters not that wasn't supposed to be healed. There's nothing mentioned previously about this before yesterday about healing in his special, but his special was giving some big healing. So do you think that the underestimation came from just because Shang-Chi's a good character, or this additional heal that nobody knew about because it wasn't supposed to be there?
It's a little of both. I mean, I will say, I was looking at video yesterday, some of my attempts, and like I literally would zone in and my Infinity Watch would be almost at 0 before they took a turn. So there's just an element of that. But I think also the heal would be really annoying because you put all this effort in and you'd finally get some characters down, and then boom, everything would go back up, and really meant you kind of had to control. You had this in this weird situation. You have to like control Iron Fist and Shang-Chi, and you have this taunt to deal with. It's very, very hard team to deal with. But on the other hand, like when you're using Shang-Chi, like you're like, oh wow, like this character, as I said, outside of war defense. I mean, to me, Valley, the thing that I was pissed off about for Heroes for Hire in general is it really was, before Shang-Chi, a team that really only had value in war defense. And I think you feel the same way. Like, I hate building those teams, and there's very few players for whom that makes sense, right? And so I'm glad that the team is now a little bit better elsewhere.
Yeah, I think especially for Gamma, and like you mentioned, Dark Dimension 4 that you did some testing on. So I think them keeping this, my initial reaction was this is a horrible thing that they're going to keep the heal, because in case you guys haven't known, there was a heal that he was doing. I guess it was because it was like negative damage or something. And I don't think this thing at the blog post is correct. I think this was still going on even when Colleen Wing was not a ally. But so what they're doing, they investigate the root of the problem. The team is observing the performance of Heroes for Hire. They like it. They like the performance of the team with a healing bug, and they believe a proper healing mechanic is appropriate. So yesterday, 5 p.m. Pacific, they changed a special. They're adding this: heal self and all Heroes for Hire allies by 50% of this character's max health. Now, did you have a war since they implemented this fix?
Not yet. So
okay.
we're gonna have one today, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think, as I read it, the fix changes anything if you're using him on the full team. It's only that before this fix, if you used him on a mixed team, then he was healing the non-Heroes for Hire members. But I think it's supposed to work now. I know it's not entirely working the way it's supposed to again. Yeah. But putting that to the side, if the text matches, did match what was happening in game, then that would be, to me, okay, right, as a solution. Yeah. Because at least on war defense, you're going to have the full team, or you're going to try to if you have it unlocked.
Now for you, this is the double-edged sword. For when you're using him, it feels good. When you're going against him, it feels bad. Is this keeping this heal for you personally? Was this more of a positive thing or a negative thing? I know it's a little bit of both, but overall, where do you fall on this?
It's really kind of, they're taking war in the opposite direction of the feedback I gave and many others, which is, I thought war was too time consuming and too much nonsense that you had to go through in war. In other words, I just think that this game is very time consuming, especially now that we actually have to go and, maybe you go to your kid's soccer game, you got to get your hair cut, you're running your chores. Like, now that we're not sitting at home, like with we are vaccinated and so forth. Like, I just think it's just a little much, and just sitting there trying to throw everything at the wall here, trying to take down one Heroes for Hire team. It's annoying. And I mean, I have to deal with 800K teams in every room. I realize most people don't have to do that at certain wars, but like at a lower level, what if you're used to seeing 300K teams, and then there's that one jerk on the opposing team who's like, no, I'm really into this, I'm building a 600K team. And like, what do you do?
So fun.
Right. Like, you're screwed, right? I don't know. To me, that doesn't seem fun to me, but they want people to invest in war defense. I don't know. I mean, maybe it makes some money, but it's just, to me, it doesn't seem fun.
Yeah, I know. But it looks like the fix for the bug, it's not working. There's been a lot of videos on this. I tried this out on the live stream this morning to test out this heal. And let's see if we could figure out what is going on. What I did was I went into the 1x speed, and we tried to find a lot of tests for this. All right, there's Shang-Chi. and we'll see the heals. Right. Okay. So there we go. No heal. We got Colleen healed. We had Misty healed, but no heal for Shang-Chi. So even the description of the fix, even the solution to the fix is not working properly. So what do you think they're gonna do with this? Is this gonna is there gonna match a text to say he'll heal all others except for self, or do you think they're gonna actually make this work properly? I mean, what if, Philosopher? What if Shang-Chi was actually play tested before they released this fix?
This could be the new episode of the What If series.
Yeah, what if Scopely did her job?
What if Scopely hired some beta testers or whatever? Yeah, I gotta tell you, bug testers. I gotta tell you, I assume they're gonna match the text. They put some thought into it. I really feel like over there, this game prints money, and I don't know if they're just trying to make maximum profit by hiring few people. I don't really know what's going on with things over there, but it is pretty embarrassing when you've got a bugged character, you announce a fix, and then it doesn't even fix the bug. I don't know what to make of that. I mean,
it seems like every character nowadays doesn't have the text that matches their in-game ability. Is this just something like standard in Marvel Strike Force, or I don't know, is every character is like this? What needs to be done to get these characters accurate? I mean, what is missing at Scopely in your opinion?
I don't know. Competence. I don't know what to tell you, man. I will just say, as long as I've been playing Marvel Strike Force, this has been an issue. You know, for a long time, the Symbiote Spider-Man basic didn't match the in-game ability. So that's for as long as I've been playing, there have been issues like this. Phyla-Vell, right? People got mad at me for showcasing a video telling people, like, hey, when any character with death proof can get a benefit from this. They're like, hey, don't let the cat out of the bag. The devs will fix it. And they didn't. They just changed the text. Yeah. I think that whatever the lazy way of fixing these things that doesn't cost them money, that they think will get them money, I think they're willing to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's pretty accurate nowadays with Scopely. And unfortunately, I think Cloak was, I don't think I remembered any bugs on Cloak, but those are major bugs on Deathpool and before that. Let's move on to your testing, though, because you did some extensive testing on this Heroes for Hire team in Dark Dimension. So after you've done this testing, do you think this is the solution to City, or would you still recommend new players going symbiotes?
So it's an interesting thing. It depends on your situation, right? So if you're in an alliance that's doing Doom Raid or is trying to prepare for that, a lot of folks that are working their way through DD4 are in an alliance that's in U7.5, but they're testing out Doom Raid, or they're trying to work to get to 30%. I think you probably want to invest in symbiotes because you need them to raid. Whereas like your war defense, like that's not as vital. But for a lot of players too, Valley, it's going to be a mix and match because there's very few new players who like have hundreds of alien spores sitting around and all the bio, like they've saved up tons of bio. So like there's always a mix and match component. And I guess, my advice to players is, hey, Shang-Chi is a very good character. Colleen Wing, these characters that have different origins and different uniques. And so it gives you an option, which I think is valuable. The other thing, though, to keep in mind is that Cloak and Dagger are City characters. They look on paper like they're going to be good in Dark Dimension. I did test them out. They on a test server. They gave me an opportunity to test them, and I did just on the first two nodes, not in City, but in the unrestricted nodes, and they did very well there. Nice. So I think that in the long run, they may be a better solution. So I just am happy, Valley, that players have options, because for a long time, we've been basically telling players, like, this is your only choice is symbiotes. And if a player doesn't have a lot of alien spores, or they weren't able to unlock symbiote Spider-Man through that RNG on the milestone orbs, they were kind of out of luck.
Or anti-venom nowadays as well is in that premium orb as well. So yeah, I do like they have more options as well. I guess that heal bug or that heal fix if it actually gets working properly, it's going to help a lot of players in the gammas and dark dimensions. So it's not totally negative. It's good that they're doing this for players. Before we move on to the new character, I want to discuss the Alliance War changes with you. You were someone that was on the playtest server. What were your thoughts of the Alliance War? Was the first round, or did you enjoy the second round more than the first round? Did you get the feeling that they're going to do another round of playtesting, or this last changes is what's kind of going to be implemented in the game?
I'll just answer your last question first, because that I can answer, I think. I wouldn't say definitively, because who knows what Scopely will do. I don't know if they know what they're doing, but it really looked to me and sounded to me like this is what we're getting. In other words, we had a lot of complaints about the second round of Alliance War tests, and my sense was that they're like, okay, well, too bad. We'll figure it out once it's live in game. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Like, too bad, so sad, when we said that we didn't think that this was very good either. Now, the comparison between the two, well, they definitely improved some things and showed that they listened to our feedback. Like before, you were gonna have to spend all that Stark Tech crap, whatever that currency's called that you use to get Stark Tech.
Yeah, I don't even remember it as well.
Don't even know the name. Okay, but you had to use that to upgrade rooms, and then like you wouldn't get points or for killing the characters in those rooms. So the MVP, the guys in your alliance are too focused on MVP stuff, would not want to attack the those rooms. There's a lot of things they did fix, but the real concern I had is it's so fast to clear through the rooms now. Yeah. That I think it's you can attack twice as many rooms at a time, which is good. But now they basically made it by giving you all the energy up front that a war, it may not be completely over. Depends on, I think, your level of where you're fighting at, but it can effectively be over. In other words, if you have an alliance where most of your alliance is asleep because they're in another time zone, and the other side just rushes and takes out your armory, I think you're kind of, the war's over. I mean, you could say there's still the wars going on. You can get your attacks in, but it's basically over. And I don't like that effect that it's going to have, because in my alliance, we have some European players, for example, who are usually sleeping for the first several hours. And so I just don't like this. I will tell you, Valley, I was busy at work and I missed one of the playtest rounds entirely because I just got busy, and basically we blew through all of the rooms, or before I could get logged on. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I wanted a shorter war, but this effectively makes it so the war's shorter, but you have to be online at a particular time, which is just, that's not how games should be. You shouldn't schedule your real life around a game. The game should fit around your real life when you have time to play it, in my opinion. Yeah, because it's a game. It's not life. It's a game. That's recreation from real life stuff. And I see a lot of problems that the Deadpool raids had way back in the day. In year one, they had Deadpool raids. The time limit on that was 2 hours instead of the normal 24 hours that we have in raids right now. That created a lot of problems. That broke up a lot of alliances. And I see this doing a lot of the same if people are very competitive. But I brought this up last week with Tony Scungili. I'm in a very casual war alliance right now. We sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. Basically averaging going about 3-3 per season. When I was in a hardcore alliance and we were going harder, I was going about 3-3. So if you're getting the same kind of rewards, if you're playing casual, if you're getting basically the same rewards playing, hardcore, then the ranking rewards are going to be a little different. But is war something that is necessary based on the matchmaking? I mean, if we get good ELO matchmaking, we should be going 3-3. If the matchmaking system holds up. So what is it even worth being in a hardcore alliance nowadays? Well, yeah, it's a great point. I will just say that war is, if you look just purely at the rewards, is never worth it. Okay, because you basically, if you look at I understand if you're very, very new, the 200k gold or something of winning versus losing may mean a lot to you at that point. But for most players, I mean, you're getting a few more ABCs, which and you're getting like 5 more. You get the same T4s if you win or lose. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's very, very minor, and so for all the effort you put into it. So it's something that people do because they enjoy it. And I will just say, because I get people on my Discord sometimes, Valley, who will say, hey, what Alliance War is stupid, just ignore it. And it's like some people have that opinion, and that's totally fine. Other people love it. And for me, it's more about the people who are like, yeah, I know that I'm only in Platinum 1 or I'm only in Gold 4, but I love war and I want to try to win every time. So, but I hear you. I agree that I think for a lot of players, they're just gonna be like, okay, screw it, I'm gonna focus on raids now. And if you have that attitude, I think you'll be fine, because who cares, right? If you lose the war or if the war is completed or whatever.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot of stuff is shifting more towards the raids, with Doom 2 coming out, and that being where you get the teal gear, and the teal gear is how you get into Dark Dimension 5. That seems like where they're heading, but I get what you're saying, because I was looking at it from a resource perspective. There are people that enjoy it, and if war are fun for you and being in a hardcore war alliance is fun, that is way more valuable, and these teams are going to matter much more. But I guess my point is, if war isn't for you, you're not having as much fun, I don't think you're losing too much resources by being in a casual alliance. So I don't know if this should be too stressful, or if the community should be as heated as they are, especially the ones that don't like war. So yeah. All right, now let's talk about Brother Cloak. Finally arrived in Marvel Strike Force. You got to play with him on the playtest server with him and Cloak. What were your thoughts on Cloak, on his release myth? Actually, he hasn't totally been released yet. We're going to talk about the data mine for that. What are your thoughts on Cloak as far as what you've used him on your roster in the game, not when you've used him with Dagger? Is he better on that team than the previous team that we're using in Mystic?
So I will tell you, man, I bought the offers for him and I maxed him out on day one. Now he's only 4 red stars for me. I don't 4 yellows. I mean, I don't have. I just bought the offers. I'm not coring him up or whatever, Gotcha. But I did a video on my channel where I went through a whole lane of Mystic. And I mean, all I did was just took Ebony Maw out of my team and threw him in without Dagger. And it made it really easy. And I had no problem. I've gotten better at it. So the first time you guys got to, if you watch the video, you'll say, okay, I didn't quite know that. Oh, I really need to watch out for the Elsas. Now, I mean, I'm having no problem one-shotting the boss node with a minute to spare. And, I was not, it was a struggle to get to a one shot or close to a one shot before without Cloak. So he makes a big difference. I'll also tell you, Valley, I in RTA this time, I tested out Cloak, and I think the best team in this cycle for today that we're recording this includes Cloak on the team. I mean, I just wiped all those debuffs. So I think he's a very strong standalone character, even at 4 stars. Very, very impressive. And he's keeping up and hanging with all the 7-star characters that I'm using in the Doom Raid.
That's impressive. I guess they have to do that because they don't make these characters farmable for a while, but then you got that issue of power creep, and all the latest characters since Silver Surfer are significantly stronger than everybody since then. But I guess the good thing in that is that even at these low star level, they're viable. But down the road, that might be a problem. All right, let's talk about the full team though, because I think most people have seen the videos. I'm not sure if I like that normal Mystic team. Because I'm using Thanos. I've replaced Silver Surfer with Cloak. Maw is still there, Doom is still there, and then of course Deathpool is still there. And I think that's been the best solution for me. But maybe that's based on like star level and power level. But as far as this entire team, the new Warriors team, you've got to use them. What? How much different? How much stronger are they with a strong Dagger on this team than with just Cloak?
They're really strong. I mean, I think the analogy I would use is the Secret Avengers. So if players, if you've unlocked them and you're using them in the Doom Raid, you probably see that they basically, the Secret Avengers kind of with, let's say, Kestrel, just you could put anything as the 5th or even not have a 5th, and they can blow through the skill nodes pretty easily. They're very strong. I think it's the same thing here. New Warriors with it, whether you're using Doom or Adam Warlock or Silver Surfer or whatever, with them, they're all very strong. And I just think, most players who are doing Doom raids have Doom. You've finished DD4, so I just think Doom plus the new Warriors are probably going to be enough there. And that I think that those 4 plus a 5th whether it's Adam Warlock or Surfer, is going to be the new standard.
Yeah, I think especially with Doom 2 coming. But I get for people that maybe not have that investment, maybe not be pushing for Dark Dimension 5 and they're just trying to get into Doom, maybe they have Thanos and Maw. Do you think that the Thanos and Maw team, if you're going bare minimum as far as resources, because the death pool, Thanos, Maw, Silver Surfer, and Doom work very, very well in Mystic. Do you think that this is significantly better, that even if you can fit Mystic now and you're not going to Doom 2 in any time in the future, at any time in the near future, that you should just Thanos and Maw are a good solution, and maybe this is a team for later? Or do you think these guys are so powerful that even if you have Thanos and Maw and you're running it, this is the way to go?
Yeah, so I could just speak from my own experience. So when I went from the regular difficulty Doom to difficulty 1, where there's 75% more damage coming from the enemies,
yeah,
my Thanos was like paper mache. I mean, I have a 7 red star maxed out Thanos, and my Thanos, because he doesn't have much armor, even though he has this big health pool, and he has a big health pool and he'll take some hits, but he's pretty close to death very quickly. You're constantly waiting for that ult to come so you can heal him and hope that you heal him in time. He would die sometimes in difficulty 1, even completely maxed out. And then Maw, until I put blue ISO on him, even though I have a 6 red star G15 Maw, he would often die or get close to death, like with just those death proofs that he spawns with, keeping him up early on. I just feel like those characters are kind of on their final legs in terms of viability. Like if there was a difficulty 2, I didn't, even on the current Doom raid, I didn't think that those guys would be able to cut it. And so I was so thrilled to get them out of my team. Same with Hela, who was dying on me very quickly too. I mean, she would just die before taking a turn sometimes if she got targeted early on one of the nodes.
All right. So I guess my final question, when you were on the playtest server, because time is an issue. Are you able to go fully auto with these new warriors and just beat all those mystic nodes easily, or do you still have to pay attention and use that time on these nodes?
Yeah, it's a good question. Honest answers, I did not try.
Okay.
I did the testing. I did a video on my YouTube. You can watch of them on the test server, but I was always choosing my attacks. It definitely felt like they were so powerful that I didn't need to be carefully managing it. But that's what I did. In other words, it took some effort to get the devs to spawn a difficulty 1 for me on the test server, and then I had kind of one shot to get through the nodes. And so I was going to do it normal. I didn't want to just put it on auto and then fail, and then it doesn't teach you anything, because I don't auto in the regular game without them. So I figured, let's just see, and you can see exactly what I did.
Smash. All right. So yeah, and we're mentioning a lot of your videos. Any videos, links that you send me will be down below in the description. I do want to talk about the data mines for the release method of Cloak and Dagger. There's been some data mines that they're going to be both in a strike pass. There's been other data mines, I guess, rumors that it's just going to be Cloak. Let's say that the original data mines were correct, though, for the sake of argument. You tried them both. If players are forced to choose either Cloak or Dagger for this upcoming strike pass, who do you think is needed more? Which should they go for if they have the option to only choose one?
I think it's a very tough question. I spent a lot of time thinking about this for newer players, because they were asking me this. Like, if you're a new free-to-play player, what do you do? So here's what I would say. I think Cloak is the better character in the long run. In other words, if you are you're going through DD4 and you're kind of in an end game, you would rather have Cloak. Like, you or I would want to choose Cloak. Okay. If you're free to play but if you're a newer player and like you just started this month, or you haven't even gotten to DD2 yet, Dagger like fits more teams, because she's got high base stats and she does healing and stuff that's going to keep other teams up. So if you're like, hey, I really could use a character to help me get through different campaigns and getting through other game modes, I just think she's more of a plug and play option. Cloak he relies a lot on dodge. He's got lower base stats. He's a character that does better on the full team. But he also though is really, really good in Dark Dimension, I think. I mean, I based on the limited testing I did, I think, his percentage damage is good there. So, and he's certainly been fantastic for me since I've unlocked him. So I think he's probably got the higher ceiling, but I think, it really depends on the situation you're in with your roster.
Gotcha. And the daggers, is any, you mentioned the versatility of Dagger. Is that also because of her healing, that she's has a lot of healing for many different teams, or is it just that she fits on a lot of different teams?
Yeah. So one thing is that she does have a heal that will heal characters that are not mystic characters or they're on her team. So that's definitely part of it. The other thing, so she's also so she's applying, like, for example, on her turn, offense up to adjacent allies, which is really nice. I think she's also I just think her kit is not as focused on raids. Cloak is very good outside of raids too, and she does have some things in her kit that are raid focused, but the other thing too is if you just look at her base stats, like, she's got a very high base stat, and in part that's because I think Cloak is doing the percentage damage on top of his regular damage, and Cloak has the dodge, which usually the characters they give a lot of dodge, they kind of put weaker health and stuff. But just to me, my gut is, particularly for a new player who may not have the character's ability maxed out, may just be throwing her on a random team with whatever else they happen to unlock. Like, she's just like an easy character to use, and she can help any team. And so I think I could see a new player being frustrated at how to use Cloak right, and not necessarily getting him to fit in their current team. Whereas, like, that won't be an issue with Dagger. She'll just heal, and she's got high base stats, so she'll damage stuff just because she's got a high damage stat.
Well, I hope the data mines about the double strike pass aren't correct, and everybody gets access to both of these characters. But I like that answer. Newer players focus more on Dagger, more end game players focus more on Cloak. And any other thoughts on this duo? Is this the next duo? We've had Dad Bros, we've had Bishop and Jubilee, we've had a lot of strong duos. Is this the next, even Gamora and Nebula? Is this the next strong duo that's versatile in a lot of games, or are they just kind of raid together?
No, they are very strong in a lot of game modes. Okay. It's not clear to me what the ISO is going to be yet, because they do a lot of assists where it's sort of like how Hawkeye and Black Widow or Corvus and Proxima do these assists. So we really got to figure that out, what the right ISO is for them, both on their team and then when they're out. I will say, I think, just like Secret Avengers, I just think that's a very good analogy for this team. Is Secret Avengers are a team that, like, yes, they're a raid team, and basically that's their function in the game, but they're so strong because of this massive power creep we've got that I think they're just good in many different game modes, and I think that's going to be the same thing here for these folks as well.
Yeah, I get that feel from them as well. All right, but this is the current team that we're working on. Let's talk about the next team that is coming. Lots of questions surrounding this. I think most people have figured out this silhouette. I think most people figured out this silhouette as soon as it was posted on Twitter. I think the leading theories on that far left one right after Dagger is Silver Samurai. The one in the middle, not Omega Red. The one on the far right is Omega Red. The one in the middle, though, Lady Deathstrike. Is this where a lot of your community's eyeballs are going for these three characters as these silhouettes?
Yeah, I get lots of questions about it. I don't have a lot of answers because I don't know. You're more the rumor guy. I know you've got Drew and so forth. So you've got
Drew's
your sources that I don't
on me.
have.
I got the same amount of rumors as you now. Drew's MIA. I don't know where he went.
Okay, so for me, a lot of people speculate. They're like, well, my speculation is this is going to be whatever, this sort of war offense team or raiding team. Like, who knows? Okay. I mean, I would not, like, some people have asked me, like, I'm not, there's a guy who told me I'm not investing in Heroes for Hire because Weapon X is going to counter them. Like, how do you know that? Like, for all I know, for all we know, Scopely's making so much money on Heroes for Hire that they're going to make this. They're going to wait to 3-4 months to introduce a counter. We don't know yet. Yeah. But, what we do know, and I saw you did a video on this the other day, Valley, kind of dissecting what was told by Cerebro in a video, basically we do know some things about the Wolverine and Sabretooth reworks, which are interesting. I don't know if it gives me much clue into how the team's going to operate, though. I don't know if you got any clue.
I didn't. I think when I first saw this, I'm like, Silver Samurai could be tech. Lady Deathstrike could be tech. Omega Red could be tech. This is the next tech solution for the raids. And then I was confused when we saw this, that Wolverine's getting a rework, Sabretooth getting a rework, that are both mutants. And now I'm sort of confused. What is this team's purpose? Is this team going to be, maybe those are the 3-piece? These characters here, these new characters are a 3-piece for the raids, and that's kind of a 3-piece solution like we've had with Secret Avengers, like we have with the new Warriors. Is this a 3-piece, and then they're also going to get other benefits with the rest of these characters? Or is this straight up just a war attack team that is, like you mentioned, the counter for Heroes for Hire? So I don't know if we have enough information to make a final thoughts, but where is your mind telling you, based on the kits for the reworks for Sabretooth and Wolverine, which include a lot of bleeds, chain attacks, the rebound attacks, and apparently they aren't the only changes that are coming to these two characters. So what is your gut telling you? War attack, counter Heroes for Hires, solution for tech in the raids, something else? I mean, what is your gut telling you at this point?
So my speculation would be, and this is purely speculation, I have no inside info whatsoever, would be, well, if they were going to do the raids, they would have done it like they did the last two and just had a 3-piece, but who knows, right? Although this is kind of a 3-piece, right? So, in other words, why do the synergy with the other two? They deliberately made it so that they can introduce new characters into the new Warriors and Secret Avengers that we have to buy later, or whatever, or suffer later if you don't buy them. And then I think that this, I could see like how people are saying this is a war offense team. That's possible. The question is then, would this counter Heroes for Hire? Maybe not. I mean, maybe it's just like, okay, here's another war offense team that beats a lot of stuff. Here you go. Who would buy
that though? Who would buy that though? We got the Heroes for Hire is the only real issue. I think everything else has a decent counter. Heroes for Hire is the only one that I don't know. So would that, if this is just a war attack team, would this team sell? Would you want to buy it as someone that buys some of these offers?
I don't know. I mean, it's a great question. I would, because I have to make videos to showcase them. But if you
were a player, would you buy it?
Okay. No, I'm just teasing you. You know what? I will be, to be honest with you, Valley, everyone in my line to buy it, because at the high levels, they're all focused on war, because the raids are easy. Like, when you get the characters to a certain level, the raids become easy. The other stuff becomes easy. It's really, well, it's not really true. The raids are hard very early on, right? When we first were clearing difficulty, when it's hard, you figure them out and new characters get introduced, they become easy, and war is a challenge. You want to beat the other guy, so people will do it. If this was a team that beat, for example, Infinity Watch on defense, or could mop up the other teams, I think people would do it. I would buy them. But yeah, I think it'd be more exciting if it countered Heroes for Hire. But there's also other possibilities. I mean, it could also be, we don't know, it could be a Dark Dimension team, it could be a team that is a grand tournament team, or God only knows what the devs. I mean, they do weird stuff that we can't anticipate. So that's why I'm always hesitant to give advice. Like, I don't want people to make plans for their roster, but my speculation, probably a war attack. But then, are they really going to counter Heroes for Hire this fast? Like, you'd think they want to make some more money off of the Heroes for Hire first. But
everybody bought Heroes for Hire. Nobody else is going to buy more. Let's just sell the counter right now. And I don't know. You're right. They do a lot of things that make no sense. So it's hard to predict what they're going to do. So who knows? Let me know your predictions in the comments, guys. I think I'm also leaning towards war offense, but I'm still kind of confused by this team, because we need some tech solutions. Tech is a problem in Doom. So kind of hoping for that as well. But yeah. All right. Did you see the last episode of What If? I'm not talking about the one yesterday. I'm talking about episode 4 from last week.
Yeah, that one I saw. So I saw the Doctor Strange one. Is that one we're talking about? Yes. Right. Now I have spoiler alert, I suppose.
Let's do the spoiler. We're going to talk about everything up in episode 4. We're not talking about yesterday's episode. I have not seen that, actually, so I can't.
Me neither.
All right, so cool. We can't accidentally give spoilers. All right, so if you have not seen episode 4, your spoiler warning is over. So what was your thoughts on episode 4? Where did this rate as far as the 4 first episodes of What If for you? How did you like this one?
I thought this was the best one for me. I love the character development with Strange. Like, I thought it's really cool how now he's mourning his girlfriend. I mean, my recollection is in the movie, she wasn't really, they weren't an item, right? Like, he was kind of into her, but like, or something, like he invited her to go and she didn't go.
Dated in the past, but they weren't currently in it. It was, I may be remembering that wrong.
Yeah, like I think he said, maybe you can come to this thing sometime. She's like, you know, and like I don't think they went together to anything, and he was alone in the car, is my recollection. But in any event, I thought it was really cool how he turned to the dark side, right? It's almost like Star Wars. He turned to the dark side there and had these sinister motives, and then he realized too late. The other thing I liked about it too is now finally the Watcher, instead of just being like, I thought the Watcher was just sort of a lame excuse to give us the what ifs, like he's just kind of in the background. But like he actually showed up and he's like telling him like, you know, you're an idiot, you screwed up. I thought that was cool.
I can't help even if I wanted. I can't punish you even if I wanted to. I would think.
Right, that was cool, right?
Yeah. All right. So I like this episode, but I like that we have different opinions. For me, I like the other ones a lot better. I like episode 1, 2, and 3 better than episode 4. This is probably my least favorite. With that said, though, I did like this episode, but for me, this was I think I like episode 3 the best so far out of the first 4 episodes with the Loki and Nick Fury. This one, I don't know. I feel like I've seen this story many times in like Twilight Zone and things like that. They just kind of redid it with Doctor Strange. But I like I said, I liked it. I like him going into the madness. I don't know if this will mean anything down the road in the MCU, possibly with the Doctor Strange movie, the Spider-Man movie, the WandaVision, all that. So I'm wondering if we'll see other elements of this in the MCU. I kind of felt that with the Loki episode and Nick Fury. I'm kind of getting those vibes with this one as well. Do you think that any of this will be incorporated into MCU, or this is just alternate universes that may or may not converge at some time?
Yeah, I think that they're trying to prepare us for what's going to come in the MCU. In other words, I think like now it's just much more on a cosmic scale and like the interdimensional scale. They're like, what happened in Loki was like a great preparation for like, whoa, okay, there's a lot going on here in different dimensions and times and things like that. Here, it seemed like this episode was very much like, hey, you know, Strange, first of all, his power level's jacked up. Like suddenly, you know, he's really, really powerful. And you're dealing with forces that are so far beyond what we've seen before, other than maybe a very short appearance by a Dormammu. Yeah. Like, you know, these are like cosmic type beings, right?
Yeah, I want to see what else they do with it, because I think there's a few other episodes in What If that Doctor Strange features pretty prominently in it, and I wonder if they're gonna tie this episode to any of those and make it kind of a continuation. So I'm looking forward to the rest of this series. I'm looking forward to. I heard very good things about last night's episode as well. But any other thoughts on What If? What's coming to this series before we move on to Shang-Chi?
Well, what I've really loved about it is that there is I mean, I don't know if you felt this way, Valley, but a lot of the characters that I really loved in the MCU, of course, have been retired in one form or another. Yeah. And I loved seeing different takes on them and revisiting these movies that I really loved. And it was pretty cool to see how closely they mirrored the movie in terms of how they drew the cartoons for all of them, whether it's the Captain Carter episode, whether it's this one. I really enjoyed it. And so, you know, I've heard great things about the Shang-Chi movie. I haven't seen it yet. And I am excited about some of these other characters, Eternals and so forth, that may be coming. But I've really enjoyed it. And maybe it's just because I'm a big Marvel geek.
I think all of us playing this game are big Marvel geeks. All right, but yes, I like the what if. I'm looking forward to all of them, and I think I've said this previously. I think having the real actors do the voices lends a lot of weight to this. All right, so let's talk about Shang-Chi. You have not heard this, so I guess it's not possible to do spoilers. I did see it, so I'm gonna let you do most of the talking here. How excited for this movie are you? And have you seen any of the trailers, or have you kind of avoided these?
I have seen some of the trailers. I don't know if I've seen them all. And I got to tell you, Valley, my opinion of this movie's changed. In other words, if you asked me a month ago, you're like, are you excited about Shang-Chi? I would have been like, I'm going to go see it, just like I went and saw Black Widow.
Yeah.
But I'm not like itching to see it. It's more like I watch all the MCU movies, so I'll watch this one too.
Yeah.
And like the reviews, everything I hear is like everyone loves it. It's the best one in the entire series, and everyone's raving about it. And so it's made me really excited to see it. Instead of waiting, I was like, I'll just wait till things die down. There's fewer people in the theater, more social distancing. And now I'm like, I need to carve out some time tomorrow to see this movie.
Gotta be caught up with the cultural phenomenon that is Shang-Chi. I mean, this is like setting post-pandemic records in the box office for what they're doing. So yeah, and I haven't seen very many negative reviews since the movie came out. I've seen a lot of preemptive reviews that had some negativity in it, like, oh, Disney's dropping this, not putting it a lot behind us. But yeah, since the movie came out, since the numbers came in, all that went away, and just I've heard nothing but positivity about it. I enjoyed it myself. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it other than it was good. It's a good family movie. I think there's a few PG-13 parts in there in case you guys have little kids. But the majority of the movie is very family friendly. So I like it. And I don't know what else there is to say without giving spoilers. So any final thoughts on
Yeah, sorry about that, man. If only I knew. But no, I will just say I'm excited about it. And one thing that's cool, and I don't know if you feel this way, Valley, is it was kind of lame that I was watching Black Widow or whatever it was a couple months ago, and I was seeing all these characters that I had been playing with in Marvel Strike Force for a year. And it's really cool that now we have the Shang-Chi event. Now we're getting Shang-Chi as a character. I've been like introduced to this character, and I'm going to get to see the movie right at the same time. So I'm glad about that. We're finally back in sync after the pandemic.
Yeah, it's normal. Not
after, it's still on, but you know what I mean. Normal.
You get to play a Shang-Chi event while the Shang-Chi movie is still in theaters. That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a pandemic. I'm not so I don't get hate mail here. I understand that, but you know what I'm saying. We've adjusted.
No, I think all of us just want to be back to normal, man. I don't think any of us like, let's stay in this. So yeah,
no doubt.
Brother, it is always a pleasure talking to you. I wish we could have the time to do this more, but any final thoughts before we go?
Let's hope that Weapon X is actually going to be worth investing in. I'm looking forward to finally using my Wolverine. I don't know about you.
I like that. Yes, and this costume looks pretty cool for Wolverine, and I hope he's getting a better rework than was mentioned on the live stream by Cerebro. All right, like I said, it has been a pleasure. Anything else that you have going on that you want to promote? Any shameless promotion you want to get out there?
Well, I am going to be testing Cloak and Dagger DD4 as soon as they come out. And in the meantime, I'm going to be doing a series talking about what players should be investing in if they're entering Doom Raid now, if they're entering Dark Dimensions now. So I'm going to be doing that in the upcoming week.
Nice. So links to your channel, links to your Twitch channel, and we mentioned a lot of videos. So if there's any particular videos you want to send me to put in the links, those will be down there as well. So check him out, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. We stream every weekday morning on Twitch, ValleyFlyin 76. Check out my other channel on YouTube. It's also called ValleyFlyin 76, where we cover Marvel Future Revolution. And yes, I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Philosopher, it has been a pleasure. Give me that Hulk fist bump before you go. Oh yeah, Philosopher and ValleyFlyin.